first time, this is Enlightened Maven. My name is Artemis, and I did my first live stream yesterday. Unfortunately, there was some technical difficulties with the echo. And thank you to the person who watched my live stream after and let me know that there was an echo because I had a blonde moment, didn't go back and check. So, after getting that all fixed, I do believe this live stream should be good to go. So, I am not currently sure if I can see comments while I'm doing the live stream. So if anybody joins, by all means, please drop a comment so I can actually see if maybe it's working. If not, it'll happen in the future. No big deal. Okay. So, let's get into it. Yesterday, I was trying to talk about the outrage that I am seeing on YouTube about Trump and the child tax credits going to the parent who is paying for child support. Now, there's a bunch of different ways that we can look into this. I mean, yesterday, when I was looking into it, we took a look at... Ooh, I can't spell Trump today. Trump and child tax credit. And you'll see what I mean. False claims about Trump's child support tax law exposed, which is good. For the past week, there's been a lot of people that have been adamant about it because he spoke briefly on potentially doing it, I think, but I haven't seen it. Now, this one says Trump says he supports the child tax credit. Now, with that being said, I haven't seen anything. I went through yesterday. We looked at presidential actions. We looked at a bunch of other things where we could potentially see where people are getting this information from other than him just briefly talking about it. But as you can see, so far, it's been proven false. Okay? So, since I have the time, we're going to go through and we're going to take a look at some of... Well, actually, we're just going to look at the presidential reviews, because that's what we did yesterday. So, the presidential actions and the things that Trump signs into law, or any president for that matter, are going to be listed on whitehouse.gov. Okay? And then we can read them for ourselves. Because Freedom of Information Act, we can either request it, we can read it, but here are the executive actions. Looks like there's some new stuff going on right now. And I do apologize. I got itch on my nose here. So bear with me. We've got protecting children from chemical and surgical mutilation. This was done yesterday. Reinstating service members discharged underneath the military COVID-19 vaccination mandate. Restoring America's fighting force. Prioritizing military excellence, readiness. The Iron Dome for America. The National Day of Remembrance of the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz in 2025. Memorandum for Secretary of State, the Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of Health and Human Services, the Administrator of the United States for International Development, enforcing the Hyde Amendment, emergency measures to provide water resources in California and improve disaster response in certain areas. We've got council to assess the Federal Emergency Management Agency. So, and these are all, it looks like 24th, 27th, 28th. So far, I didn't see anything yesterday. We're not seeing anything now. Like, if we scroll through here, we are not going to see anything for the tax credits, okay? So just because he says something does not necessarily mean that he has officially made any changes to it. Now, even if he did, I'm sure there'll be some exceptions. There's been a lot of talk about coming from TikTok videos, it looks like, that were posted on YouTube about women, baby mamas. I quote that, baby mamas. That was discussed, and people are showing the videos of women being upset because they're not going to be able to claim that child tax credit. Okay? Now, with that being said, it is a controversial subject because, unfortunately, there is a stigma that most fathers are the ones that are paying the child support. And in many cases, that is probably accurate. I don't know what the statistical numbers are on that. I'm sure we could probably look it up at some point. But unfortunately, a lot of times that is the way that it goes. Now, with that being said, there are many different cases regarding child support, custody, non-custodial parents. The child tax law is actually very clear. And what we can do is we can actually go to Google and look up the child tax credit 2025. And we're going to go to the irs.gov, Internal Revenue Service. Okay. So this is the actual IRS website where it actually explains the child tax credit. So the child tax credit helps families with qualifying children get a tax break. You may be able to claim the credit even if you don't normally file a tax return. So the problem becomes is when we are looking at, quote, baby mamas, unquote. Not my verbiage, but I'm sure we can all understand where that's coming from. Living off of child support payments because it's, thousands of dollars a month and they're not working. But then these individuals will go on to file an income tax return and get this child tax credit, which over the course of many years has fluctuated between, I believe it's been fluctuating between like $500 and $3,500 a year when you claim that. Now, with that being said, you still have to follow these guidelines. So right now, according to this, you can claim the child tax credit for each qualifying child who has a Social Security number that is valid for employment in the United States. Now, to be a qualifying child for the 2024 tax year, which is last year, because in case any of you did not know, when we're filing taxes this year in 2025, it is for last year, okay? So, we can't file taxes for 2025 when we're currently in 2025 and we don't know what we're going to get for taxes or we don't know what we're going to pay into taxes. So, this is for 2024. Now, your dependent generally must be under 17 at the end of the tax year, so by December 31st of 2024. Be your son, daughter, stepchild, eligible foster child, brother, sister, stepbrother, stepsister, half-brother, half-sister, or a descendant of one of these. So, for example, a grandchild, niece, nephew. Not provided more than half of his or her own support for the tax year. So in case that you have, a 15 or 16-year-old, they have been approved eligible for work and they have a job, they're going to be filing their own taxes, okay? So when you talk to your tax professional, whoever's doing your taxes, or if you're doing it on your own, um, you know, you can't claim the child tax credit if they're working because they have their own credits that they're going to get. So talk to your tax professional, read, what you're signing up for, go through the process. Now, they have to have lived with you for more than half the tax year. So if you have 50-50 custody, a lot of times people don't know this, but in pretty much every state that I'm aware of, we can, look into the individual tax laws and states and things like that. But the parents can request to have it put in the custody agreement, the divorce decree, the child support agreement, how the taxes for the child is divvied up. So, for example, if you have a parent who has 50-50 custody and the other one has 50-50 custody, and they decide that they're going to share who claims the child on taxes, then you can have that put into your legal documentation. Take it with you to the tax office so that way they know. So you can designate, hey, this year in 2025, so when you file in 2026, you can go ahead and claim the child. And then the next year it'll say the opposite parent will claim the child. And you can go back and forth. Now, this even applies to non-custodial parents that don't have 50-50. So if one parent has primary custody and the other parent only has part-time custody, so it's only like every weekend or every other weekend or only during the summer, whatever the case may be, you can still have it put in the child support paperwork. You can talk to the lawyer, you can talk to family courts, you can see if they'll put that in there. So that way it's legally documented who is claiming what. But you still have to meet these qualifications. So have they lived with you for more than half the tax year? Okay? Now, with that being said, there are situations that may cause it to be different. Okay? So it depends on your situation. Now, again, be claimed as a dependent on your return. Okay? So they have to be able to do that. Not file a joint return for the year or file the joint return only to claim a refund of taxes withheld or estimated taxes. Be a U.S. citizen, U.S. national, or a U.S. resident alien. And they must have a social security number that is valid for employment and is issued before the due date of your tax return, including extensions. Now, you qualify for the full amount of the 2024 child tax credit for each qualifying child if you meet all eligibility factors and your income is not more than $200,000 or $400,000 if filing a joint return. Parents and guardians with higher incomes may be eligible to claim a partial credit. So again, you need to talk to your tax professional, but nowhere in here has any of this changed. Okay? And number two, there's going to be some exceptions because there's always a minority of some sort. There's always an exception. Or, some things just aren't as black and white. There is some gray areas in a lot of things. So, for example, if you've got a parent who just does not see their child, wants nothing to do with the child, and you have a primary parent who is doing everything for the child, including working full time, and the state has now mandated that the non-custodial parent pay, let's just say $50 a month in child support. Okay, 5 times 12, that's what, $600. I highly doubt, and this is my opinion, but I highly doubt that the courts are going to side, or the government is going to side, that the non-custodial parent who has nothing to do with the child and only pays $50 a month in child support is going to get that child tax credit when the primary parent is also working full-time and is taking full responsibility for the child or children that they have. Okay? So it's a little bit of a sticky situation, and I say parents because there can be deadbeats both mother and father, right? It can happen on either end of the spectrum. It just depends on the situation. So I'm sure there'll be exceptions in here. But like I said, I can understand the outrage from the custodial parent that is receiving child support and living off of that to get that child tax credit. So, but again, there's no evidence to support that Trump has changed that. Now, with all that being said, if you go back to Google and you just Google Trump child tax credit, we'll just see. Trump did not announce new tax law on child support. Again, which is what we just looked at. Okay. So there's a couple of different things here. But everything that we're looking into, like, he might have ideas. He might have, look, he's got a proposed child tax credit. But nothing has been changed. So, good for us, I guess. Not sure what else to say about that. Oh, and apparently, I did not turn on my screen so you guys could see what I was doing. So I was clicking through here and I was reading, and as you see, here, let me fix this for you. As you can see, my screen now. Let's try this again. Which, I know I've said all of this, but we'll just look through really quickly since I just did it and said it, but you guys didn't actually see. All right, child tax credit 2025. All right, so as you can see, now you can see, new news, Donald Trump talks about child tax credits 2025. This is for this year. Now, it does say that he supports the child tax credit, talks economy and more. False claims about Trump's child tax credit. Again, that's what I was talking about there. Here you can see Trump did not announce. It's from a different news source. And then you guys missed the congress.gov, so let me show you that, because I did, oh, not Congress, White House. And we're going to briefly scroll through here, because I did it earlier. I read some of these off. Can't believe I forgot to turn my screen on, but go figure. This is only my second live stream, so bear with me. But as you can see here, there's nothing to do with the child tax credit. Yesterday when I did this video, we went all the way to the end, all the way back to page 7 here. And nowhere in here was there anything about him signing anything at all for the child tax credits. Then we went to Google and we looked up child tax credit for 2025. And we went to the IRS, and I read all of this to you. But here you can see specifically what I was reading, right directly on the IRS website. So chances are, if you need to know the information, it's right at your fingertips. I understand if you don't have time, by all means, come watch my show. Come give me a message on some of the things that you would like to see. Yeah. Like, give me your comments, give me your opinions. If there's anything that you think I could do differently other than not mess up technical difficulties here, please let me know. I am grateful to the individual who said yesterday that I had the echo. Thank you. I did take down that video because the echo was just, it was horrible when I listened to it. It was really bad. So again, I apologize about that. I'm going to try to post my schedule of when I want to post. I wanted to do it today, um, about 2.5 hours ago. Unfortunately, my power went out, so therefore I couldn't post. I had to wait for it to come back up. Is what it is. A little bit about myself while I'm here and chatting. Um, I can stumble over my words. Sometimes I add letters to things that I'm reading. So if I mispronounce something, I do apologize. Sorry about that. Um, However, if you need me to clarify, let me know. I'll type it out. Sometimes, I can do that, and that might be a little better. Let's go ahead and turn this back off. Go back here. So, with that being said, please come back and join me live. I would like to be able to talk to the community, um, go over things. At some point, I'm going to start doing some podcasts for some walkthroughs and reading some of the information. There's a lot of news sources out there, both on YouTube and on TikTok and all the other lovely places that we have our information at that don't always tell the full story. Sometimes they leave bits and pieces out. You're left wondering your own conclusion. A lot of us are working full time jobs, 40 plus hours a week, just don't have time to sit down and look up information. So, I want to be able to make a podcast for you guys, make some more videos, looking up the information, speaking it out loud, playing some videos, things of that nature. Child tax credits with Trump just happened to be one of the things that kept showing up on my own personal YouTube feed multiple times over the last couple of days. So I figured it must be hitting several of us quite frequently as well, and I thought maybe we could touch on that. But if there's any other topics that you want to touch on or talk about, we can do that. Yeah, give me a comment, give me a like, subscribe. I am a real person. um, I have very limited subscribers. I just created this channel. Yeah, so by all means, come join me, come hang out. Like, share, subscribe. I'm going to try to do this ending here. Hopefully it works out. We'll see. Um, yeah. I just want to say thanks for watching. Please join me again. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day.